So we're going to think about breathing now, and we're going to think about keeping the upper chest quiet and working into the lower chest, because the lungs are shaped a bit like pyramids, and the big part of the lung is called the base. And so we want to get the air into the base and out from the base. And we don't want to breathe too quickly. And we want to just take our time and be present in our breath. So I'm going to stand so that you can see. Okay, so we're going to start with what we call lateral costal breathing. So if you think about putting your hands, and you can open your eyes for the moment and just see where I am. The hands should be around the lower parts of the rib, just so the thumbs are just a little bit above your waist and your fingertips towards the front. And as you breathe in, you want your hands to move to the side, and as you breathe out, your hands can move together a little bit. Nice and slow, pushing to the side, and then sinking in. Again, out to the side, 2, 3, 4, and breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just waiting a moment, and then breathing in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. And in again. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. So just breathing away like that. Don't do too many deep breaths in at the same time, because you can make yourself feel a little bit dizzy. And you don't want to make yourself feel dizzy when you're doing your breathing. Because when something goes wrong with our breathing, it tends to make us feel a bit panicky. And when you become stressed and panicky, the breath moves from the lower ribs to the upper ribs, where the very small part of that lung lies. And so it's much less efficient to breathe that way. So thinking always of keeping the upper chest quiet and still, moving the breath down and out. And then letting that expansion just fall back in as you breathe out. And that breath out goes right the way until it comes out through your nose or mouth. And then you breathe in through the nose, down, 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 and widen. So that's breathing with the side part of the lungs to get the bases to open. And there is another very important muscle that helps you to draw the air down in the lungs. And it's a big muscle that sits like sort of 2 cups across the midline of the body. And it's the only structure that divides the upper and lower body. It's called the diaphragm. And so when you breathe, your diaphragm descends and flattens, and it widens the lower ribs. And when you breathe out, it rises up again. So it takes up more space in your chest area on the breath out. It creates more space in the chest area when you breathe in. Now, in order to know if you're using a diaphragm, when you breathe in, if you put your hands over your tummy button and just feel the breath coming in and out. And you can see that my tummy moves forwards. Breath in and sinks in. One breath out. Just having a bit of attention on the tummy area, drawing the breath down into the tummy. 2, 3, 4, and then out. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when you're ready, breathing in again. 2, 3, 4, 5 if you can, 6 if you can. And then out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Think about what your shoulders are doing as you're doing that. And think about as you're breathing in, letting your shoulders drop. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4. And you can see I'm taking my shoulders up this time, so we don't want that to happen. We want the breath to be working down in the tummy area. So letting the shoulders drop down and back. And out. 2, 3, 4. And I'm deliberately taking my time, and I'm also deliberately not breathing in again immediately upon breathing out. And the reason for that is that when you become stressed in your breathing, then you tend to breathe too fast, and the breaths follow each other very quickly, and you start to feel sometimes like you can't breathe. And so the movement happens up here, and there's too much attention to the breathing, and therefore you're so busy breathing in and out that you become worried about being able to breathe. And your brain is very well switched on to your oxygen levels, and it will tell you when you need to breathe. So at the end of your breath out, just be still. Be in that stillness, in that moment, so that you can be relaxed, and your next breath will happen naturally. And you can work with it to widen it in the sideways direction, or to widen it in the front and back direction. But you don't want it to be taking control of you, working up here. Okay, so working to get our lungs to be a bit more flexible, our rib cages to be a bit more flexible. And the picture that I like to think of when you're breathing is to think of seaweed, how it moves in the current. So it moves very gracefully and gently. There's no quick, sudden movements or jerky movements to it, just very quick and gentle, so that your breathing becomes easy and slow and actually much more efficient that way. In terms of getting air to the base here, but also the base at the back of your lungs. So we're going to go from hands from the back there, around to the front here. To the back, and to the front. Widening to the back of the lungs, and to the front. So that we're thinking about breathing here, lower bases at the back of the lung, and also breathing with the diaphragm.